many people might not know, but like the story of Pankti and the Amur Falcons, it's such a big deal now, in the sense, news-wise, like at least everyone knows about it, right? So many of them might not know, the audience might not know that you were one of the ones responsible for bringing that into the limelight, and the fight for trying to conserve this great phenomenon, that natural phenomenon that happens with the roosting, all this. So tell us about that. How did that
so that
build up?
In fact, that the Amur Falcon story has its roots in this 2010
The book.
Okay. Because in one of these recce, when we were in Doyang, I heard people there telling us. I was with a group of ornithologist friends, and so the local people said, like, you've come to look at birds. I said yes. They said, but this is the wrong season. I said, oh really? Then when's the right season? So they said, you should come in October. I said, okay, well, what kind of birds do you get to see here? No, lots of birds. But then there's so many, people take them away in sackloads. So I said, oh really? What birds are these? So I mentioned to my friends. I said, apparently there's sackloads of these birds which are coming in October, but I don't know what these birds are. And they said, so they are hardcore birders, so they immediately
know
immediately they said, oh, these are the Amur Falcons. So these are Amur Falcons, and the report of the Amur Falcon was first reported by a Singaporean lady called Joyce Tan. She reported this in the bird ecology group, and she wrote about how the birds were being caught and they were being sold and they were being taken away,
right.
and all those, and how she saw these birds in that area. So that's how we did a little bit more study, and came to know that for sure, like, October is the month that these birds come. And we also found out that there's a Berlin-based heart specialist, Dr. Joyce Mayberg, who had carried out a telemetry science study satellite. He fitted these Amur Falcons with satellites, and one of the birds had indeed
landed in
had been coming to this area. So in fact, the year so we came to know about this, this thing that was happening, the migration that was happening, and we had very little information, but at that point, only through Dr. Mayberg's studies, we came to realize that these birds actually travel all the way to South Africa. So in the year 2012, that was the only, 2010 I came to know about the birds, but 2012 was the only time that I could go. 2010 winter I couldn't go. 2011 winter I couldn't go. 2012 winter we went with a group of friends from Conservation India, and we landed up, and to cut a long story short, it was like Doyang is one area which I had visited years ago as a young reporter from Doordarshan to view the laying of the turbines and all that.
Right.
NIPCO project
was
being
happening.
Commissioned, So I was coming back to that area after more than 20 plus years, so that way it was interesting to see all the development.
2 decades plus later.
And so that's when, revisiting the area, we just happened to be in that area at the peak of the migration that year, in 2012, October 2012. And so all the images that you see of the trapping and
hunters and the trappers,
hunting
right.
and all that is all of that year. Within less than 48 hours are all those images, and that's how we felt that, okay, this is huge, it's really big. It was something that had been going on for
how long?
Years,
exactly.
And that's when we decided to launched this campaign called Friends of the Amur Falcon campaign. And
so yeah, just follow up on that. Like, tell us like how did that?
yes,
I mean,
so
like
then
now we
that
know how it
came
started.
out,
Yeah,
that came out, and
Right.
then it made like it was all over the
news. It was
news,
like
and a little a video, trailer. What would you call it?
a video clip of what?
Yeah, not clip, but a little a teaser, a 1 minute or 2 minute teaser on the massacre of the
What was happening? Yeah,
what's happening was put out on Conservation India website, and that really went like global, and the news also, which also came out in our papers, in our local papers also, that really shook the conservation world. And that's when like we also were able to get the interest of the political powers that be, and say like, this is
Something has to be
that
done.
has to be done, because we can't just keep complaining that this is our tradition and nobody should do this nobody can interfere with our tradition, with
Practices.
the hunting and all that, but this is a question of hunting out an entire species, finishing it over here. It was because this is when you look at the map of the migratory route of the Amur Falcons, and this is the season that they are supposed to be coming, but this year they are late. So climate change is obviously
affecting
having
our Amur Falcons also.
around the Amur Falcons also, and how long these creatures will be around, God alone knows. But anyway, having known that these birds actually migrate through Nagaland on their way to South Africa, and they have to stop in Nagaland to refuel. So all this information nobody had before. It's only after we began to study and collect information that we were able to share all this with the people in the village, the hunters, the councils, the elders. And that's what we did.
Talk to us about that. It's very encouraging to know that they responded well to this, as like we all know now.
It was
how did it happen?
I don't think it was easy for them to accept.
I'm sure.
Was in fact like all kudos to them for raising up the bar and like deciding to do something about it. But a lot of it was also had to do also with the state government coming forward and saying that this is it. This is the time that we are going to, please like welcome these visitors. They are your guests, and also giving out public notice, the government notice that their rural development funds also could be affected if this hunting continues. So I think there was very little choice for the council and the villagers to make a decision whether to continue with the kind of trapping and hunting or to face the consequences. So a bit of a carrot and stick kind of a thing, but also at the same time that coupled with being armed with the knowledge of the history of this bird and the importance and the connection that people of this area have with people in South Africa.
Right.
That connectivity also I would like to believe had
played a role in
in changing the hearts of people.
We talked about this a little bit because now this is when you talk about wildlife conservation or anything in regards to Nagaland, this is the biggest story. This is the one that's always thanks to you guys and everyone involved who made this into what it is today.